disappointing. And I'm not a huge SNL fan. I can tell you one thing I won't be watching, and that's SNL.
Yeah, well, I feel like SNL has always been very much hit and miss, and maybe it has to be. It's sketch comedy that's thrown together every week. People talk about the glory days of SNL, but when you go back and actually watch old SNLs, they'd have one or two really good skits a night, and they have a bunch that fall on their face. That's kind of the nature.
Exactly.
But this is different. This isn't just trying to pull something off and missing. This is just a bad idea, poorly executed, that hurts people. And they should be they should be better than that, especially in an age when they themselves are kind of almost benefiting from fighting back against, the current administration and the promotion of sexism and racism and misogyny and everything else. They should be so much more aware than they show themselves to be in this case.
And it seems like, the times that I have watched, I think these, the comedy piece is hard. Like you said, probably most of it falls flat, and every once in a while you hit and it could be pretty funny. But it seems that they would be more socially aware. And that's why it was surprising to me when it first came up, and I thought, this is going to be fun. Like, this is going to be really something, like promoting the WNBA and the parody of it, maybe, highlighting the fact of, the difference in pay that women go through, whether it's women in sport or women in business. I thought it was going to head that way and be a positive thing. But it just, like you said, the further it went, it was just like, what the hell is going on here? And it just was really, really hurtful and disappointing.
Yeah, I didn't even have as high of expectations as you did. I just thought it would be a funny thing. I thought they would take the simple approach, which is just kind of have men just acting like idiots, these where men are very capable of acting like idiots. I thought they were just going to change the context in which men acted like idiots and try to have some fun with a silly idea. Instead of it bombed.
It really bombed.
So enough about that. Let's talk about a development from Adidas that I find really interesting. Do want to thank Shelley Bean, thesportsqueen.com, sports books. Shelley Bean, the Sports Queen is a book series aimed at kids ages 4 through 9. And you know the deal by now. Shelley Bean is a tough little girl. She loves new sports. Playing sports for her, just like most kids, isn't easy, but she perseveres. And she's an example to girls and boys of all ages. I know Ollie likes her books. At the end of each story, she reflects on her day and what she's accomplished, and she rewards herself by making a new sports charm for her crown. To purchase your copies, you go to ShelleyBeanTheSportsQueen.com and enter the code LinksCoachReeve at checkout. Save 15% off the cover price. Check out the new 5-pack, the Shelley Bean poster, become a member of the fan club, and much more. And Shelley Boy and Breen, the author, usually comes out to our live shows. We're looking forward to seeing her again. She's always at Links games. She's always around town. And I think she's having great success with this series. I know my wife, who's a principal, is looking into her books as well. So ShelleyBeanTheSportsQueen.com, Links Coach Reeve is the promo code. So Adidas, and actually Lori Ramsey, our partner, sent me this. Adidas has determined that it will pay women, and I'm losing the thread here, will pay female soccer players the same bonuses as male players for winning the World Cup.
Yes.
And, it sounds like such a simple, obvious deal, but it's not.
It's, and they're getting all this attention, but that's exactly what we need. We need people to finally, these things that, again, seem pretty darn obvious, which they're not. And the credit goes to those players that have really, shined the light, so to speak, on, the pay disparity, even the conditions in which they play, the fields and, whether times that they get. And these are all things that happen everywhere with women. And so, history is going to show that the U.S. women's national team for soccer is going to be at the forefront of real change for women in terms of compensation and it just, like I said, doesn't make any sense. And in the case of the women's national team, the attention they get and the crowds that they get, there isn't an argument of, well, the men get more attention. No, they don't. They're not very good, to be honest with you, right, on the world stage. And so this is a no-brainer, absolute no-brainer. But we're still fighting for the same purse on in a tennis competition, and it goes on and on and on, the list. And so yes, it seems obvious, but someone has to do it. And Adidas is stepping up and, frankly, probably, seeing the benefit of maybe what Nike is doing in terms of, being aware of social issues and seeing that it actually helped your business. I think you're going to see more and more of that. Companies, recognizing, that their participation in social justice is going to be good for business. And so I think Adidas is jumping on board and, happy to see it. And that's what leaders do. And that's what Adidas is showing. They're a leader, and we need more of that.
Yeah, and I hope they reap benefits because, this is also a great marketing strategy for them. I mean, making it known that they want to sell their stuff to women and making known that they want to be involved with women. That's a growth stock. I mean, my daughters all played sports. Women's sports are growing in popularity. WNBA is growing in popularity. This should be a winner for them.
That's right. And as I said, companies realizing that, but it usually takes someone else having the courage to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, I'm not going to do it. I don't know. You do it. And if they do it and they're successful, then we'll all jump on board. So it has to start somewhere. And kudos to Adidas for doing that.
Thanks again to our producer, Brandon Morton. Please download before you listen to the shows. If you'd like to advertise with us, you can reach us at talknorthpodcast@gmail.com and follow us on Twitter at talknorthpod. We'll also put I Am Dan Edwards' Twitter feed up there so you can see the place you can go to register for free tickets to the show. Again, anybody can walk in at any point and get in free. But maybe we'll figure out some kind of a reward if you actually sign up early, just because it helps us plan out our crowd control. We did bring in a lot of people in our last venue. And thanks to everybody who shows up. We appreciate it. I'm going to give it to you, Cheryl, for a final thought.
Yeah, just got the news that Title IX founder Birch Bayh passed away.
Oh.
He was the as we say, on the right side of history. And was a big reason that Title IX was pushed forward. And so we lost him today, but obviously his actions will live on forever.
Did you know him?
Did not know him, but I reference him all the time because, again, he gets a lot of the credit, but there's oftentimes a woman behind the scenes. And I believe the story that I read was really about his wife that wanted to get an education in places that were more men dominated. And she couldn't, whether it was the math, the sciences, I forget what she wanted to do, but she wasn't permitted to do that. And so that's often what happens. Either a man has a daughter or, a wife that, has goals that they're unable to achieve because of, some of these, antiquated rules. And he was the one that was able to, him and Patsy Mink were able to, get that through in the Senate. And it was huge. It changed everything for girls and participation in sports and just what it does for you. And so also education, right? It's not just an athletic law. It was also for opportunities to study things that, women weren't permitted, didn't have access to. And I just think about, the effect of Title IX, even though most schools are not in compliance fully of what the law outlined. And so, but even with that, and, I'm not saying we should be happy with it. We should be pushing to make sure that we're in compliance, but it has changed everything in terms of, access and we've talked about the exponential change of participation. We have not seen the media coverage match that, but the interest and what it does for girls and women and to be a part of a team, to get that opportunity and what it means for you later in life. Sports teaches you many, many lessons. And so for us to have, access to that, very much thankful to Birch Bayh and the great work that he did.
We are going to keep this show fairly short because I want to save a lot of topics for the live show. We tend to do the live shows, make them last an hour or so, reward people for coming out, give you time to have a meal or a drink or two. So next week, I do want to thank John Folke had a really good tweet about Sylvia Fowles' stats last year and how she probably should have been more acclaimed than she was. I want to get your take on that. Damaris Johnson is going to wear number 92. I want to get into numerology among athletes, whether any numbers were particularly important to you or whether you identify with any numbers. And I also want to talk about, the ad that ran on International Women's Day, from basically all these successful women going on camera and saying, I was told I couldn't do this. I was told I couldn't do this. And these are all CEOs and leaders and philanthropists. I want to get into all that, but we're going to save that for next week. And reminder, March 20th, Wednesday, 6 p.m. at the Poorhouse, downtown Minneapolis. There are two poorhouses. We're doing the one downtown on 5th Street, which is walking distance from Mayo Center and all those parking lots. It should be a great time. Come out and see us. Support the show, support Cheryl, support the links, and let's have a good time. Cheryl, thanks for all your time. Looking forward to seeing you in person next week.
Can't wait to do the live show, Jim.